All right, welcome to Out of the Blue from the Block M Podcast Network, part of the Fan First Sports Network, the podcast of the undisputed 2023 national champion Michigan Wolverines, the last real national champions, but before it turned into a free-for-all circus. No asterisks, no room for discourse otherwise. It's good to be here. I am Jared Stormer of the Block M Podcast Network. With me, as always, is Andy Bailey, my hetero life mate. Andy Bailey, I once saw this guy literally die. Turns out he was just using ninja focus to slow his heart rate down. Trick he learned from the Dalai Lama himself. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. It was a good weekend, quiet around the Michigan front. Nothing big came down. No news of any kind.
Nothing to discuss here, so I guess we'll just call it. I'd say that this
good.
Is Out of the Blue. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Lots to talk about, my friend. We haven't weighed in on the official end of the sign stealing saga, and we will certainly do so on this one. Before we get into that, want to remind you that we have a great giveaway going. We're giving away a signed Aidan Hutchinson Detroit Lions jersey. We went with the black one because I think it looks very slick. Producer Tony's got one. He recommended it. That's the giveaway. That'll be going up until the week of kickoff. We'll announce the giveaway, the winner of the giveaway, sometime that week. Basically, what we want for this one, share our stuff. We want people to get the word out about Out of the Blue podcast. We don't care what you share. We'd prefer if you shared one of the videos. Definitely share the actual video of the giveaway. We'll have another one going up after this one. And we just want to get the word out about it right now. We'll make sure that all of our socials are out there, and we appreciate it. And the most creative, the most effective wins the day.
Tremendous. I mean, you're going to get bonus points if you tag other people, get more for listeners, bring your friends, bring your wife's family, bring whoever you want. Like, this is the best Michigan podcast around. We want to spread the word this year. A lot going on. We're moving to 2 pods a week starting next week for the rest of the season. So we're locking in. Bring some people with you.
Brother, at this point of the season, what's your level of excitement? Because we were talking off air, shooting the shit with Tony as well.
I'm so excited. You were worried about me.
I'm losing it, man. Every time we get this close, it's kind of like when you gotta pee and you get to your door and like it just goes up to another level because you're like, your body knows you're almost there. It's like, oh, you're close, but I'm gonna see if you've got the wherewithal to make it all the way in there. That's where we're at right now. It's just like panic opening the door, like, let me in, let me in. You gotta give me some football, brother. We were looking at this week 0, like anything on Thursday, scratching our necks like crackheads. No, but week 0, there's some fun Saturday games, and we are officially in week 0. It is Monday, August 18th. That means it's week 0 by all accounts.
I've been waiting for you to say those words all offseason. Like, I've just been looking forward to this. You, Tony, and I were just going through the week 0 and week 1 slate, just salivating like we're looking at a menu after starving for weeks. Like, ooh, this looks good. It's like it's just cheese sticks, and the equivalent of cheese sticks is like
Tulane.
It's like Iowa versus Albany. Like, are you excited? It's like, I'm locked in. That's all I'm doing on Saturday.
Excited doesn't even begin to describe it, brother. I can't wait to just say that's not targeting within like 5 minutes of the first game. Just like big third down here.
Big third down. That's all. It's coming right away. Like, game comes down to this. I can't wait. And we kick
first quarter.
Farmageddon in Ireland. Are you kidding me? Like, tell me the football gods don't exist.
Man. We are truly in the Lord's warm embrace now. He has pulled us close to his chest and nurses us back to health. I cannot wait, my friend. I also can't wait to discuss this with you. I think we have to start here. We haven't gotten our opinions out there. We, on this podcast, don't talk about it a lot. We've certainly podcasted about it and have talked about the sign stealing allegations. It obviously was unavoidable and was the main topic in sports for at least a couple months there. I mean, the biggest topic in college football for a long period of time. We had to defend ourselves. We at times really thought like maybe Michigan did something out of, a little untoward. Obviously, our opinions have changed on that, and now we have the final judgment. Sir, take us through this.
So it all came down on Friday. I love how it was rumored like they're going to announce it at noon, and by 10 a.m. it had already leaked out across like multiple sources. It's like, yeah, well, it's kind of what we anticipated. But the news that came down, the hammer hit kind of like a squeaky hammer, more than like a hammer. Sherrod Moore is being suspended a total of 3 games now. Weeks 3 and 4 this season was the self-imposed Michigan suspension. and next season's game 1 against Western Michigan, notably taking place in Germany. Jim Harbaugh receives a 10-year show cause, and Connor Stallions receives an 8-year show cause, basically meaning if you want to hire them in college football, you have to prove why they're not going to break the rules again. That's all it really means. Interesting that Harbaugh got 2 more years than Connor Stallions. I guess it's because he's a repeat offender, but a little silly. Former staff member Denard Robinson received a 3-year show cause. Got to justify that one as well. The university will be on probation for 4 years and will be fined $50,000 and 10% of the football team's budget. The equivalent of the financial loss of 2 postseasons, right around like $20 million altogether. A 25% reduction in official visits for recruits. A 14-week probation on recruiting communications. Both of those can be spread out so they don't have to be served all at once. Kind of feels like you're getting served a burger with no condiments, nothing at all, and the patty's made of tofu.
A lot to unpack there, but the first thing that we need to unpack is what is not there, and that is no vacating of wins, that is no bowl bans, that is no like recruiting loss. There's some reduction in official visits in there and a probation on recruiting communications. Annoying, but not handicapping in any way, shape, or form.
One would say it kind of like this to really just get the feeling out there. No wins vacated, no conference championships, no natty banners coming down. None of it. None of it. None of that's happening. Everything that matters still matters today. Everything that was accomplished still accomplished today. That's all I really care about.
It feels like we got to win the national championship twice, because now you're just reminding me that we won it in 2023. And I once again feel elated. It's good to be back. It's great to be back. One would say we never even really left. You and I were very dubious that would happen, particularly because I'm not sure if you share this opinion. It's bad for college football if one of the biggest brands in the sport gets absolutely chopped up at the knees like that for something very stupid that was remedied the next year, something that anybody that knows football will tell you did not play a major part in Michigan winning. Oh yeah, and the guy that was orchestrating the whole thing wasn't there for the bulk of the run anyways. It always seemed a little far-fetched to us that was going to happen, but to just have that off the table and know that there's no asterisks and know we can go about our business, and this might be the last time we really have to talk about it unless we're just making fun of all the meltdowns that occurred from our chief rivals.
It was one of those you and I predicted a few months ago. We thought they would double Sharon's suspension, add a fine, maybe some recruiting stuff. And we were even over the top. Like we were a game over on the suspension. But this all goes back to Team 144, man. If they lose to Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State, Iowa, Alabama, or Washington, maybe they stole signs. Maybe that was the reason they were winning. But they won 3 of those games without their head coach, went on a run, knocked everybody else off, and won the national championship. It didn't matter, because it had just such a minuscule impact, actually what was taking place on the field.
I think we need to play the audio clip. Tony, play the clip.
Hey man, you see where we at, man? All I gotta say is, be careful who you make the villain, man. Be careful who you make the villain, man. Feels great to be a villain.
Feels good to be a villain. Ooh, it feels good to be a villain.
It really does. And I think, all in all, I think the punishment was fair. And I think any outrage over the extent of the punishment correlates directly with how much time you spend online. Like, Michigan is predictably going to appeal this because, hey, why not at this point? But I'm just happy we can put the bulk of this behind us.
It feels great, man. And I guess if we want to break it down individually here, the probation for 4 years and 10% of the team budget will also be essentially the loss of 2 postseasons. That could hurt, particularly if Michigan goes on a long run in the next 2 years, but it's not going to hurt us as fans, and they'll find a way to make up for it. There's a lot of rich dudes that have more money than God able to make up for that if need be. So I would say that that's not even the biggest thing. I mean, the biggest thing's the suspension, but it's for the Germany game against freaking Western Michigan. Like you or I could coach that and take care of that one.
Exactly. And that one's being appealed. We're going to feel it more from the self-imposed against Nebraska, which we'll talk about tonight. And this may hurt the fans a little bit in a sense if they raise season ticket prices next year, which they inevitably will, and maybe increase advertising at the stadium. But I guarantee you 110,000 people that are going to the games are just fine with that. Like, hey, I got to pay 20 extra bucks per game next year and this all goes away. Done.
And I get to know we keep the natty. There's no challenge. There's no asterisks. I would happily pay an extra 20.
Where's the mayor of Toledo, by the way? Where is the mayor of Toledo?
Mayor of Toledo owes me a cool $1,000. You think we forgot around here? The mayor of Toledo who bet me that we were vacating the natty, and I bet him in front of his constituents and his wife that wasn't happening. Pay up, sir.
Jared did all this
not getting reelected.
Shirtless too at an Applebee's.
They're like, sir, okay, you can make the bet, but then please kindly leave the premises. Yeah, I demand satisfaction, sir. Justice, sir. It will be mine. Anything else about this that we need to touch on? The 14-week probation on recruiting communications and the official visits. Could that secretly be pretty annoying and a challenge?
Annoying's the word. Michigan served one this past spring, and we've already forgotten about it. Relating back to violations during the COVID dead period. I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks Michigan couldn't do anything. And then as soon as they came back off of that, they went on that recruiting heater. So, it'll be annoying at times, but I don't think it's really going to have any long-term ramifications.
The worst has been avoided, and I got to say, I don't really log on too much to participate in this discourse, but that was a fun day online watching the meltdown from Ohio State and Michigan State fans. Justin Spiro is not well.
It was, what is it, Schadenfreude or whatever, basking in the misery of others. Sure. A lot of that felt great on Friday, just to scroll and see it all.
I don't support that necessarily. I'd like to say that I'm better than that, but sometimes I'm Tom Petty, free falling.
I'm not. I'll enjoy it. I'll just get in there and view it from afar, pour up a nice cold beer at 10 a.m. on a Friday. It was great.
Poured myself a cognac and paired it nicely with the misery of others. It was lovely. I suppose we should sandwich some bad news in between some good news here, and got to talk about Andy Babs becoming quickly a fan favorite on this podcast. And we were very excited about him playing this year, whether or not he was starting or not. That will not be happening, as it sounds as though he might be out for the year with a knee injury. So prayers up to Andy Babs. This is the first big bummer of the season.
Yeah, and it sucks now in the short term, but my worry is less this season and more so, how does this affect his long-term development? We were kind of getting the sense that Link was going to be the starter, at least early on. So now my thoughts shift to, how does this affect Babalola going into year 2? Does it stunt him? Does it slow him down? How bad is the knee injury? What's the extent of it? Is it a Rod Moore situation? So more questions than answers right now. I just hope it's a speedy recovery, man, because he was threatening to be one of the first true freshmen, the second true freshman ever to start in the offensive line for Michigan this season.
And even if he didn't start, redshirting seemed out of the question because he'd be your 6th. He'd be the guy that came in probably at either tackle position if a guy went out for a couple plays, or maybe he could kick into guard if need be if somebody went out. But regardless, he was going to be on this line this year. So I think this is immediately a hit to the depth. It's not just oh, bummer, we don't get to see what this freshman is. It's no, there's some depth now. And now you got to wonder, what's the Ty Haywood situation going to end up looking like? Now you have to start looking for some other names on there. Can Blake Frazier move up a little bit? That's probably the name now of can he move and speed up the development a little bit? Because now you might be the depth that we were hoping Andy Babs was.
Yeah, Frazier was in the 3-way battle at left tackle, so he'll be the guy to watch in terms of depth. Sprague solidified at right tackle, but right now you got to be just a little bit concerned about depth at tackle. You feel great with 3 guys, but now you're getting down to that next level, and it's really hope we can stay healthy on the perimeter.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, I haven't heard enough about it, but it's not like a Grant Newsome level injury where it's career ending.
Well,
we need some more details on it. Yeah.
That's the
it was a rarity.
Normally. Yeah,
100%. But so hopefully this just means it's just this year. If you need surgery, whatever it is, he can come back next year and be ready to go for fall camp. But it's terrible timing too. Didn't even get a taste of the field or anything. That's got to be a bummer for the young man.
So close, man. So young in his development too. I believe he's only been playing football for less than 5 years. So very just young, raw. Everything we'd heard was just glowing reviews coming out. I just hope he can get back on his feet sooner than later and be ready for spring ball, but at least to be able to walk around and participate.
Absolutely. And this one, we don't know if it's good news yet, but I am choosing to believe it is. Savion Hyder commits tomorrow. We are recording this on Monday, August 18th. He will commit on Tuesday, August 19th. We are ready if need be for an emergency pod for that one, because I don't think you and I have collectively been this excited about a prospect. The Underwood thing happened kind of so late and it was a flip. This one we've been in on since the ground floor, and I can't remember us both being so locked in on a prospect.
Well, all it took was like one highlight reel, and you and I were like, good God.
Mother of God.
There are levels to this, even at high school. And he is just such a tantalizing prospect, man. He's so good. Like, he is just like a phenomenal running back prospect. Even like the scouting reports are like, he just has to stay hungry this year because he's so much better than everybody else. It's like, oh God, please don't tell me that. Zero crystal balls from 247 makes me a little nervous. Kind of like an old school, we're wait and see. He commits it at like 11 a.m. tomorrow. So we're going to know pretty early on. Michigan's been in the lead for a while. Tennessee's been closing the ground. Seems like a 2-horse race. Hoping for the best, man, because this is a massive piece for next year's team.
Yeah, just not Ohio State, please. There was a running back a few years back that we were competing with Tennessee with, and I thought we were going to, was it Eric Gray? Does that sound familiar?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Eric Gray.
Yeah, and it was leaning Michigan the whole time and then ended up being Tennessee. So Tennessee makes me nervous with these kind of guys.
Najee Harris had a dorm room in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I know, man.
The admissions fiasco, then he ended up at Alabama.
Yeah, so I really hope, man, Savion Hyder. I mean, that might be like, we need to go out and celebrate, kind of. Like, I know it's a Tuesday. I don't care. That Chili's will welcome me with open arms.
Shirt or shirtless. That's such a big one too, because we've been talking about 27's a year. We've had it circled like that's the big year to make the run at the Natty, and Savion Hyder and like a possible senior Jordan Marshall that year. Those two together, man, that's a special backfield, a special offense.
Unreal. That's unreal stuff. Yeah, 2026, 2027, both years that big I think will make some serious noise. Yes, Savion Hyder would come in and would certainly play as a freshman. He's that kind of level of good, like can't redshirt him kind of thing. No. So yeah, it's a big one. We'll obviously keep you posted, and if he commits, we're going to come on and wax poetic for an hour and 45 minutes. Talk some hockey to me, brother.
Joyous news today. Completely unexpected. Michigan hockey adds top 25 2026 prospect Adam Valentini, I think that's it. Kind of confusing, to the team for this season, adding to their number 1 overall class already. This feels like the first Brandon Naurato team complete vision, like that he has fulfilled all the way out. He's had a very normal offseason for the first time with talent going to the NHL, declaring early and sticking around. And it just seems like everything's kind of coming together. It seems very cohesive. Everyone's rowing in the same direction. And I don't know if they have the top end talent to win it all, but this team has a very high floor, and I think they're going to be fun as hell to watch.
I like fun as hell. I'll take that. If you can't give me, top 4, Frozen 4 finalists, at least give me very fun, gonna fight and scrap every night. So didn't end up with the 2 guys that we were really eyeing early on, but ended up with like a very, very talented, well-rounded team. So excited about it. All right, brother, anything? Oh, wait, we had a write-in. This one is from Christian Conway. Thanks for writing in. Going back to 2000, if you had to build the best Michigan rushing offense, who would be your running back, fullback, O-line, or maybe wide receiver and tight end, if we want to throw that in there? Great question, Christian. I like this one.
I got to take a drink first.
Take a drink. Let me think about this. Is the fullback probably going to be, I think we need to get, this is tricky. Khalid Hill would be great if you want him for like pounding it in, but I think we want somebody that's just going to be an outstanding blocker.
I want Max Bredesen.
I think we want Max Bredesen. That's what I was trying to get at there. I think we want the complementary.
Yeah, I think Max Bredesen, especially with the leadership and everything else he brings to the table, I think he's what we wanted Ben Mason to be, but he's better.
I'm with you there. On the offensive line, I am probably since it's going back to 2000, we've got some serious options there. We can get Taylor Lewan. We can get Oluwatimi. We can get David Molk.
I'm locked in, dude. Jake Long, Graham Glasgow, Oluwatimi, Zach Zinter, Taylor Lewan kicks to right.
Ready to go. I love it.
Come on.
All right. Is there a Graham Glasgow replacement in there? Maybe not. Cole.
Mason Cole's a good one. If you or like
versatility.
Ben Bredesen, if you want to push back on there. Ben Bredesen's a name to watch. Or and like if you want Molk at center and like Molk or Oluwatimi at center, I feel great about the tackles because Luwan and Jake Long were both just above and beyond.
Molk won the Remington, didn't he?
So did
think he
Olu
did.
Olatimi. He won the
So
Outland
did
too.
Olu. So we got 2 there. We got all Americans all over the place. Yeah, I'm in on that.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Running back.
I feel like it's a 2-horse race.
It's a 2-horse race for sure.
It's do you want the player that has the most 100, 125, 150, 200-yard games in Michigan history, but never beat Ohio State, or do you want Blake Corum?
And a national champion. So
yeah.
I tend to, when it's close, lean for the Ohio State victories and the Natty. But I mean, there's some great backs in here too.
I'd say because you go to 2000, that's senior year Anthony Thomas, and then you go right into the Chris Perry run. And then you go into Mike Hart, which, I mean, you can directly see.
Is that who you were saying the other one? Like, I was thinking Chris Perry over Mike Hart. Just for
Mike Hart.
Mike Hart numbers-wise, but, like, Chris Perry behind that offensive line. Chris Perry, man.
Chris Perry had one good year, though. And, like, Mike Hart was
true, but he was a stud.
He was every single year. And the one year Mike Hart was hurt, the team went 7-5. Like, just you could dramatically see the drop-off when he was out of the game.
Yeah. I mean, senior year Anthony Thomas. I'm just trying to, like, imagine them behind a better offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, those early 2000 teams were talented, though. I mean, they were very talented teams.
Yeah, I'm going to go Blake Corum on that one. I certainly loved Mike Hart, but they're very similar. We were talking about it with Nick Baumgartner about how they're, like, very similar players, and if it's that close, a coin flip, I'll take the national championship.
Yeah, because if you want to point to, like, 2022 Corum, like, pre-injury, like, it's as high as pretty much any Michigan running back has been. I'll go Mike Hart just for the variety.
Yeah. Can I put Denard Robinson at quarterback since we're trying to build a rushing offense? That was the specific of the question. And then tight end. I mean, I'm just going to take Jake Butt.
Yes.
Holston Loveland.
I would take Jake Butt. I would say, I mean, if we're talking about run blocking, I'm taking I'm starting to lean a little bit like Luke Schoonmaker, like AJ Barner. Players like that could move people. But yeah, I think if you want to go like high end, like complimentary, I think you should go Jake Butt. And if we want a good rushing offense, I at least want the threat of the pass. So give me JJ McCarthy.
I like it. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, but Denard Robinson just for overall breakaway speed. That's a nasty rushing offense.
Yes, 100%.
Good question, Christian. I like
Great
that
question. I love the questions like that.
Yeah. We'll do that all day. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are previewing weeks 4 through 6, as well as the specialists. So we've got Nebraska, we've got Wisconsin, we've got USC, and then we've got Zavada. We'll be back right after this. All right, we are back. We are righteous men. Week 0 is very good. We have college football this week, and we are talking college football as we continue to preview all of the Michigan Wolverines opponents this year. Going backwards and then moving forwards through time, it makes sense if you look at it on paper. We have got at Nebraska, September 20th. This is one that we have been circling, said that if Michigan is going to be like 10-2 or better, this is a must win. In my opinion, this is going to be one of the bigger challenges. You can drop Oklahoma, but you got to get this one. Can't drop Oklahoma and Nebraska. So last season, this was a 7-6 Nebraska team, made their first bowl appearance since 2016 and beat Boston College. What a year for them. Would like to like them, but Rule and Raiola are thoroughly unlikable. So I'm ready. I'm ready to pound up on this team. What are your thoughts about this game, brother?
It's going to be very interesting. I believe Nebraska will come in undefeated. They play Cincinnati at a quote-unquote neutral site. It's in Kansas City. Akron and Houston Christian, so they should come in undefeated. Michigan's coming to town with no Sharon Moore. Got to keep that in mind. And although there's a lot of excitement for Dylan Raiola year 2, I think this Nebraska team takes a step back this year because of the losses on defense, mainly those 2 defensive tackles last year, which I think were the key to their success.
I'm with you there. They do bring back the majority of their secondary, but the secondary was number 65 in passing yards per game, allowed 23 passes through the air. It was the run defense that really set them apart, as you mentioned. Number 8 in the country, only allowing about 100 yards per game. They only allowed 8 total rushing touchdowns on the year. That is low. Like usually these numbers are up in the 20s. This was a very good rush defense led by Nash Hutmaker. And I agree with you. When we talked about their over-under, I said I think they take a little step back because of what you just mentioned there. Raiola takes a step forward and they could be better on offense, but I believe in defense, particularly in the Big Ten, and that defense is not going to be better.
Yeah, I thought Ty Robinson was better than Hutmaker. Ty Robinson was a stud. I mean, he was
a stud. Where did he go in the draft? I think
he was top 100. I don't know. Hutchmaker was later. I think he was a little smaller.
He was, yeah. But first of all, the name, and
It's
also
fair.
the
I'm not
year
gonna push
before
back on
the year before he was really good.
push back on Dash Hutmaker. You kidding me? Like, that's a
No.
tremendous name. But I mean, that's where the strength is, man. I think when you can stop the run like that and you have that front, I think it complements the secondary so well and allowed them to do a lot of things. And furthermore, like, they have to replace their defensive coordinator now. Tony White left for FSU, so they promoted John Butler to take over. And I'm interested to see how he runs this defense. Is it going to be the same vein? Is he going to change up calls? Does he want to implement his own system? They have a few new pieces that are interesting, like Evan, Missouri edge, Williams, Nwaneri, a 7 edge. I mean, I'm going to tune in. It could be a freak show and just completely fall apart, but you at least have my interest.
Yeah, they've recruited well under Rule, and Holgerson there now on the offensive side of the ball, coming over last year and taking over as play caller. He'll be back this year. So with you on the defense taking a step back, maybe the secondary does take a step up. They return a decent amount there, but you hit the key point there, how much the defensive line helps the secondary.
Yeah.
That symbiosis is something we've talked about a lot on this podcast. So I'm with you there on the defense taking a step back as a whole. They were 17th in scoring defense last year. So that's only 19 points a game. That's really stout. I think that number goes up, and ultimately that's the most important statistic we're going to touch on. So on the offensive side of the ball, they were pretty balanced. They had 22 rushing touchdowns, only 13 passing touchdowns, but I think they're happy with what they got out of Raiola early on. So the expectation is he'll continue to take a step forward. He's got Emmett Johnson at running back that they like. The offensive line returns some guys, including left tackle, both the guards. So that's pretty decent up for them. And I think the biggest thing to mention here is what we already mentioned, and that's Holgerson, who's a step up as OC.
Yeah, he came in last year on kind of like a contract job off the street in November and immediately just started paying dividends. It is really weird, though, because he kind of came in and cucked Marcus Satterfield, who was the OC. Satterfield's still on the staff. He's the tight ends coach.
It's odd.
It's very strange what they're doing there offensively. I'm with you. I think Raiola is going to be better this season. They lost Dante Dowdell. He transferred to UK. He was their leading rusher. But you mentioned they have some other guys returning there. Added Dane Key from Kentucky. I kind of like to imagine they just traded players, like in a made-up scenario. I think that's going to be kind of fun. But they add Rocco Spindler on the offensive line, the guard from Notre Dame, and Elijah Pritchett, the tackle from Alabama. And I think that's what's going to help this offense the most. Similar to how the defense, I believe, will regress because of the defensive line losing some pieces. I think the offense will improve mainly because that offensive line is going to be a little bit better.
I'm with you there. Yeah, a decent amount returning on the offensive line, as we mentioned. Also, the number 20 recruiting class coming in, 37 commitments on that team. It is a large amount. I mean, the just laws of luck state some of those guys are going to hit. Got a couple 4-stars in there, bringing in some new wide receiver talent. So I'm not out on them, but I'm not in on them taking the big leap. I think they have a chance to make that big leap next year or the year after. It's going to be very interesting. Some of these young quarterbacks that are kind of now on the same timeline in the Big Ten, Raiola, Underwood, Stan. So it'll be interesting to kind of track how all these teams develop around their young quarterbacks. But how do they want to win this game? What is going to be the approach that Nebraska takes to get it done at home?
At home, for one, I love that this game is at 3:30 and not at night. I really like that for Michigan going on the road. Lincoln's a tough place to play. Like, no matter how good Nebraska is, we found that out in 2021 with Scott Frost there. Like, it can be a very tough environment. So glad it's at that time. I mean, I think what Nebraska wants to do is what a lot of teams are going to do. They're going to try to force a lot onto Bryce Underwood if he's the starting quarterback, which we should know this coming Monday. Force a lot on him and force him into mistakes. You mentioned this secondary brings back a lot of key pieces. If they can turn him over and get their offense more possessions, I believe they think with their offensive line and their weapons, the more chances they get, they can do enough to overcome Michigan's defense and wear them out while Michigan's offense struggles to move the ball and possess the football.
Yeah. If they can stop the run, which I would imagine they will commit a decent amount to do with that secondary, they're probably thinking this lines up well for them. They're like, look, the defensive line is going to be great. We'll commit. They do like some of their linebackers, and they bring in several highly rated on this freshman class. So they probably think that they can stack the box, stop the run, and say, beat our secondary, like your receivers beat our guys one-on-one, and we either will get just enough pressure to throw you off, or our secondary will hold and we can play a lot of man. So they're probably thinking this lines up well. I completely agree with you. They're thinking if they turn it over, like they're not going to be able to run the ball tremendously, but they're like, we just need to be able to hold on to it a little bit more, kind of win the time of possession. They're still trying to make things easier on Raiola. When Holgorsen came in last year, the average depth of throw went down quite a bit because he was trying to simplify things for Raiola, and that's when they really started to improve on offense. I think you'll still see more of that. They're going to try and keep things simple on offense, possess the ball, hold on to the ball, win the turnover battle, and hope that this thing's 23-20 late and they've got a chance to kick a field goal and win it, or hold on defense and win it. I think it's going to be tight. I think this game's going to be tight.
I think one thing that could swing this, and we're going to have to really pay close attention, Nebraska was horrible on special teams last season. They finished 100 or worse in kick returns and punt returns, 96th in punting, and allowed 10 blocked kicks or punts last year.
Yeah, that's certainly worth bringing up. That's a great call out by you. And we're going to talk specialists tonight. In a lot of these close games, and we predicted Michigan State, we had it at 1.5. I'm guessing we're about to do predictions now, and this isn't going to be a massive spread. Special teams, as it did last year, certainly worth mentioning in a lot of these contests.
Yeah, I think the good thing for Michigan in this one is, okay, you believe you can win special teams pretty handily. If you can win one or the other sides of the ball, I think you win this game.
Well said. Well said. Like maybe your offense can't out-offense them on the road at Nebraska. Luckily not at night, but still at Oklahoma, at Nebraska, early on. Young, Bryce Underwood, no Andy Babs now.
No.
Might take a minute to get the passing offense going. Hopefully the rushing offense is ready to go out of the gate. So they have to win one of those other two. I agree. 2 of the 3 should get it done in what I do think will be a close contest. But let's hear it, brother. Let's get your spread predictions on this one.
Nebraska, I'm looking at the AP poll right now. Were they getting votes? Yeah, they were getting votes, but they'd be somewhere in the 30s right now. I think they'll probably be ranked by the time these two teams play, given their schedule and other teams' schedule in front of them. So I think it's going to be a tight spread. I'm going to go Michigan still favorite, but on the road, I'm going to go Michigan 2.5.
I've got it the other way. I've got Nebraska 2.5 because I think we'll have one loss. I think they'll be undefeated. I think we'll have one loss, and I think the rankings will switch a little bit. And the fact that it's at Nebraska, the fact that maybe the offense doesn't look too great against Oklahoma, I think Nebraska will be favored. I didn't pick Nebraska to win this game in our Big Ten over-under, but I could see Nebraska being favored, and maybe it's 1.5.
Well, to
it's
your
not
point,
be a big number.
No Sharon either. Again,
no Sharon Moore.
That could swing the line.
Yeah, no Sharon Moore. I'm just trying to predict if it's undefeated Nebraska, and I get it. They won't have played anybody, and we'll have played what we think is a decent Oklahoma team, but we'll see how it plays out. I hope I'm wrong on this one. I hope you're right. Let's keep it pushing here. Moving forward in the schedule. So that is September 20th, and then on October 4th, so there's a bye week in there. Michigan gets a bye week after Nebraska. Good time for that bye week. I do like that. Where that one falls. Yeah, right before Wisconsin, who once again, another team that you can't totally overlook, but a team that I personally am not high on, particularly with their schedule. They finished 5-7 last season after starting 5-2. Really fell off a cliff. Luke Fickell now 12-13, 2 years at the helm. Yikes. After coming in and just completely shaking up the identity of a team that was one of the most easily identifiable products in all of college football. I'm not sure what that was all about. So last year, this team in Michigan did not play, but they were 17th in points per game. So that, or excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong one. 50. They were 40. They were 46th in points per game, 23 points per game, and then their offense was not good for getting rid of the running attack that they had and switching to that air raid offense. They were 109th of 134, only 23 points per game. So let's talk about it, brother. What are your thoughts about this Wisconsin team?
First off, they come into the game also coming off the bye week, which they're going to need. They have to go at Alabama in week 3, so kind of catch their breath, then travel over to Michigan. This is Luke Fickell. He's not on his last legs because they did extend him, but he's really trying to fight off the Rich Rodriguez allegations right now. Because he came into an established program and just completely threw the winning playbook out the window and tried to do his own thing, and it was a catastrophic failure. And now if they're trying to correct course now, it remains to be seen if it's too little too late, They bring in offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes from Kansas, replaces Phil Longo in the air raid system, and they're going to get back to running the football if Grimes has his way. They bring in Maryland quarterback Billy Edwards. They lost their leading rusher last year, but they have a rising sophomore they're high on. So they're going to try to get back to pounding the rock first and foremost, set up some easy stuff, and kind of start to look like the Wisconsin of old.
It'd be nice. I mean, I always kind of liked watching Wisconsin brand of football and found it very refreshing and in your face. And like they were a team that I really respected. I haven't respected the way that Luke Fickell has gone about it. I was comparing him to Scott Frost because it just felt like such a sure thing with his previous success, and it has been anything but. Last season was just flat out bad. You had this stat in here that only one of their losses last season was under 15 points. That's not great. Don't love that. So yeah, had to make some changes there. My concern though is that much like the Rich Rod team, they're like when Brady Hoke had to come in and rebuild it, the best guys on that team were the Lloyd Carr holdouts because they had completely changed up the style of football that you're going to play. And blocking for an air raid is not the same as blocking downhill in a rushing attack that wants to run the ball 48 times a game. So you need to get kind of like different personnel in there. You need to teach new skills. You need to emphasize new things, particularly on the offensive line and in the run game. And, you know, Kansas was quite a running attack there. So Jeff Grimes, like a good bring in for him, but like, can they get that installed and effective in 1 year when it's a tough schedule for Wisconsin? They were my vote for toughest schedule in the Big Ten because out of conference, it's at Alabama. Like that's not a fun one to add to an already loaded conference run.
Their stretch in the middle of the season from starting with Michigan, it's at Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, at Oregon, Washington, at Indiana, Illinois, and at Minnesota to finish the year. That is hell.
And that's hell on earth, brother. And this is the year you need to come out of a rut. Like, that's why I'm very nervous for Luke Fickell, is because he's like, man, all right, bad year last year. We got to come back this year. And then that's what you get on the plate. I don't envy him for that, for this one. And they're not built for that right now.
No. And like, to just speak to the dysfunction that's going on in Madison, 3 stats really speak to this, and they all play together. These are 3 stats that you want to have the complete opposite if you have a winning football team. Last year, Wisconsin was number 105 in turnover margin, number 87 in time of possession, and they were outside the top 100 in red zone offense and red zone defense.
Terrible, dude. I mean, I don't understand. It was the worst Wisconsin run defense since 2005. Yes. They were 91st in the country. Why on earth, if you are coming into the Big Ten and be like, let's get away from running the ball and stopping the run, that has been overrated. In the Big Ten, brother, what are you doing?
Like, at least Rich Rodriguez was trying to run the ball, but he was trying to bring in zone read. He just had a bunch of other issues going on. Like you could talk, if you squinted at it, it made sense. But like, bringing in the air raid to the Big Ten just does not make sense. Like, even play callers that like to air the ball out, like Kalen DeBoer, still understand the fundamentals of having to run the football.
Yeah. We're getting like angry the more we talk about Wisconsin.
They shouldn't be this bad. Like, why are they this bad?
At quarterback, I think it's going to be Maryland transfer Billy Edwards, who did impress me in that, 2022 when Maryland came to, I forget my years. I rely on you for even my own memory. But yeah, I think it was
he's had moments, when mostly he came in for
Tagovailoa. Yeah, and he's competent, but like, is he any better than Van Dyke last year, who they were excited about and I wasn't excited about? I am also not inspired by this quarterback break.
No, and again, it's like, if they're going to commit to running the football, similar to that exercise we did from the mailbag, if you're building a good rushing offense, they have the pieces. But are they 10 toes down on this? Are they fully committed? They lose both tackles from last year. They bring back 3 in the middle on the offensive line. But it's like, you have to teach them a completely new system now on the fly and implement it. And my question with Jeff Grimes is, okay, he came from Kansas. They have a good rushing attack. Well, that was his first year as OC there. So Lance Leipold was with Andy Kotelnicki for years. Kotelnicki goes to Penn State, implements it. Leipold keeps the ship going with Jeff Grimes. Now Grimes leaves. Maybe it's just Leipold. Maybe that's the guy that's doing it. So we'll see what Grimes brings to this offense. But if they can get things going and really start running the ball in inventive ways, get some counter, some outside zone going, maybe they can get back. But even then, you're asking a lot from this defense. That was abhorrent last season.
Exactly, man. And a lot of these defenses that they're going up against are very good run defenses. Yeah. It's consistent across the Big Ten. Like, there's really, I mean, we'll talk about another one of them that's lower in this exercise, but for the most part, you're looking at like top 30 run defenses that they've got to go up against. And Alabama out of the conference. So like you're trying to get this run offense going against really stout run defenses. They bring back some guys on the offensive line, including left guard Joe Bruner, Jake Renfro at center, and Malman at right tackle, but they need to replace the left tackle, need to fill in one of the guard positions. I don't know, man. And then again, on the defensive side of the ball, dead last in tackles for loss, number 122 in sacks.
Number one, yeah, like
what do you want me to get excited about against this schedule? I mean, I took the under, and now like I actually may go more under after we're talking this out.
They allowed 38 or more points in more than half their losses last season. And again, it's complementary. The offense has something to do with that, like I mentioned, with turnover margin, time of possession. But so it's not like you're just fixing one side of the ball. It has to be wholesale on both sides for this team while running a gauntlet of a schedule.
I'm with you. So at this point in the season, I'm predicting they'll be 2-1 because they got Miami, Middle Tennessee, at Alabama, or 3-1. Maryland. So they'll be at 3-1, and then I don't think they win another game. I have them going 3-9.
I have them getting 2 more. I have them getting to 5-7, just because this team always finds a way to be frisky late in the season at home at Camp Randall. They played Ohio State really close 2 years ago. Took Oregon down to the wire last year. They just couldn't complete a forward pass, so ultimately fell short. So I think it'll be middling. I do think it'll be improved, but when you're improved from that, you're not getting too high.
I'm saying, so how do they want to win this game? I mean, we kind of just dissected it, right? Like, yeah, like they think they're going to run the ball, but you're running the ball against freaking Ernest Hausman and Jayshawn Barham and Rayshawn Benny and this defensive line. You're at our house, like probably with the loss to Oklahoma, although don't put that in pen. We'll get there next week. But yeah, so I mean, I think this Michigan defense is going to be fired up and want to win in this one. And they're going to want to run the ball, but I think it's going to end up having to be Billy Edwards needing to make plays, and good luck.
Yeah, they're going to try to take the ball out of Edwards' hands and just, in terms of being a passer, they're going to try to run with running backs, with Edwards, do creative things, and kind of just suck the life out of the game a little bit, take the crowd out of it, keep the defense on the field for long possessions, and try to pay them off. And on defense, again, they want to force turnovers. They're going to commit every resource imaginable to stop the run, try to get some chaos, try to get those havoc numbers up, because those, I couldn't believe they were 134 in tackles for loss. Like, you were dead last in the country. Like, no one was worse than you at this. You were at the very bottom. You literally can't get worse. So they're going to try to get those numbers up and like disrupt Underwood's timing, but it just feels like such a tall task on paper.
It really does feel that way, and maybe I'm way too low on them with 3-9, but doing this exercise and seeing how bad the defense was and seeing that like what they're trying to rebuild in 1 year, I don't love it. So I'm with you on pretty much everything that you said there. I will say that this will be a great game for the Michigan rushing attack. If they can't get it going against this Wisconsin team, and like say like we struggle a little bit early on and we can't get it going in this game, I might start to get nervous. So we should be able to run the ball on this Wisconsin team.
We should. I do think the spread will be a little bit lower just because where the game falls in the schedule. I believe Wisconsin will be 3-1. Who knows how that Alabama game will play out? I think that will be the biggest factor upon this. But I think I would take Michigan by like 11.5, something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right in line there. I might go a little bit higher. I'll go 13.5. I will say that it's basically a 2 touchdown spread. I think Michigan will be able to control the ball. I think that they will really struggle to move the ball. Feels like a game where the under might be the move because, I think this Wisconsin offense is going to struggle to score, but it is Luke Fickell. And like, I've held out the slightest bit of hope. I may have shifted it all to USC, all my unabashed, unreasonable hope, because this coach has proven he could do something in past live. And maybe I've lost that for Luke Fickell, but this guy got Cincinnati to the freaking playoffs, man.
Man. It's so hard to put a finger on it. Like last year, they lose to Oregon 16-13, but they lose to Iowa 42-10.
What is that? What am I supposed to do with that information?
It's baffling, but I think that it favors Michigan, when like you're going to struggle with teams that want to just get dirty with you and run the football.
I'm with you, brother. All right, let's get to the last one on this one. Let's get to at USC on October 11th. The USC, man, the one I can't believe that we are both going on the over for this one. Despite what we saw last year, they were 4-5 in 1-score games. They were 7-6 overall. They were really good at passing the ball. Not that great of a scoring offense. First out of 134, but they allowed 24 points per game, 57 134. They were just very mid. Like they weren't excellent at anything other than passing the ball. And they were, excuse me, I got their passing yards per game. They were a top 10 passing yards per game team. But that was, other than that, what did this team really do? What was the identity? It felt like just being that on like offense isn't going to be good enough in the Big Ten as it was in the Big 12 with Oklahoma. So what are your overall thoughts on this team?
I am perplexed by this team. They lost to Maryland last year. I don't know what to do with them. Lincoln Riley in 3 years in the Big Ten has the same exact record as Brady Hoke. Like they mirror each other, so he's really fighting off the Hoke allegations going into year 4. If this game were in a vacuum, I would pick Michigan 10 times out of 10. Like if it were just Michigan versus USC, neutral site, wherever, like not in the midst of a season, I'm taking Michigan. You and I both picked the loss in the over-unders because it's on the road and where it falls for Michigan on the schedule.
Exactly. And I kind of picked it early on. Like when I saw the schedule, I'm like, that's going to be tricky. Going that many time zones, this is just a historical thing, is very difficult. And it doesn't usually bode well for the road team. So Michigan, obviously New Mexico, at Oklahoma, Central Michigan. Then it goes at Nebraska, bye week Wisconsin, which we just discussed. But then it's at USC, it's Washington. It's just where it falls. You look at that, you look at the fact that you're traveling that many time zones. Now, there is also the part of it where USC probably should have beaten Michigan last year. Went and rewatched that one, and they're probably kicking themselves for that one. I have to imagine this is one of the ones they have circled with Michigan coming into their house.
You mean, I want to say that, but it's like if you're too stupid to understand that Michigan can't pass the football and you're not stacking the line of scrimmage, you don't deserve to win.
That's very fair, but we did everything in our power to give it away too, but they did everything not to take it.
And I think the biggest thing this year for Lincoln Riley is, does he want to win too pretty? I think that's the biggest issue he has to overcome. This team had the 82nd rush offense, but was 21st in yards per rush. They could get it done when they ran the football, but he wanted to throw it around the yard. He wanted to win pretty. Didn't want to run it up the middle, get dirty in between the tackles. Like, can he overcome that? Can he find a way to just win? Ryan Day had to overcome it by just hiring somebody and giving him full responsibility and stepping back. Lincoln Riley, I mean, he lost his OC in the offseason, but we know he's been the guy running the show, and he will be again this year.
Yeah, and they're coming off a win in their bowl game over Texas A&M, where quarterback Jaden Maeva looked pretty good, did throw 3 interceptions, but there was a lot of interceptions being thrown in that game. It was a little sloppy, and every now and again he'd uncork one and you'd be like, oh, I see it. And then he would make bad decisions. And, you know, that's to be expected. He's still pretty young. I believe he will be the quarterback again this year. They've got a lot of talent in that quarterback room, though. They certainly will always, on a Lincoln Riley team, recruit the position well. I would imagine it's Maeva. And it is more decision-making, not talent. I think the kid's got talent. Like, again, all of their quarterbacks have that. It's how can Lincoln Riley coach him up to make good decisions? Because if you're not going to be that excellent at anything else, if you're not going to get that offensive line to a position of dominance, get the ball running at a very high level, or play defense at a top 30 level, I don't think just being okay at quarterback's going to do it. I think Lincoln Riley, like you were just alluding to, he needs to have an electric offense, not just a pretty good offense. It needs to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, Maivia for the year last year completed under 60% of his passes for 11 touchdowns, 6 picks, and under 7 yards an attempt. Like,
that doesn't say electric and elite to me.
That doesn't. And this is on an offense too that loses their top 2 running backs in Woody Marks and Quentin Joyner. Quentin Joyner, who got hurt today, man, for Texas Tech. So feel bad for him. They also lose Kyron Hudson, Deuce Robinson, and Zachariah Branch at receiver. They bring back Lemon and Lane, who they're excited about. And then their offense.
I like both of those guys, though.
I'm okay on. I mean, I think Lane's pretty good. I'm not as high on Lemon. And O-line is just a mixed bag of transfers and risers. It's like, are you buying into them? Are you not? How is Lincoln Riley going to deploy them? That's the question mark there. But the reason I picked USC in this game was not because of their offense.
Let's hear about it, brother. I'm in on the wide receivers. I like Lake McCree at tight end. I think there's weapons, and I think Maeva will be better. I just don't know if it's going to be like elite better. Like if this guy's going to be in Heisman discussions at any point, or if this is just like yet another Miller Moss. I mean, if it's going to be more similar to that, I'm not going to buy in on that. Like I said, this is a schedule loss for me. I've already said that. I think Michigan could absolutely get USC 100%. And maybe it's Nebraska that we drop instead. Like maybe those games are flip-flopped. I could absolutely see it. I'm with you. I'm not saying like I'm buying this team necessarily. I'm saying that like there are pieces there, and I trust Lincoln Riley to make improvements on offense to what was already a top 10 pass offense.
Why I'm picking this team is because of their defense. I think the second year under our coordinator, you and I are both very high on, coming over from UCLA last year, first year implementing the system. Now this year, I think their D-line is going to be good with Devin Tompkins, Braylon Shelby, and Anthony Lucas all coming back. They got a Kentucky transfer, Keyshawn Silver, who I like a lot. A Georgia transfer, Jamal Jarrett, and Jakeem Stewart, a very highly touted freshman. I think they're going to be very explosive up front, and I think they're going to help in D'Anton Lynn's system to just bring some more turnovers. That's how they were really good a few years ago. They were very feast or famine. I think they're going to try to get back to that this year with a little more chaos on defense. They added San Jose transfer cornerback DJ Harvey, an NC State transfer Bishop Fitzgerald back there to pair with Kamari Ramsey, who is a stud. So I think all those together are going to make this unit just so much more formidable and help out this team to get these one-score victories. Because like you look at it on paper, it's like, okay, they were rough, Lincoln Riley's declining, but like they were leading in the fourth quarter of like all of their losses. So they were equally close to having a really good team last year as well.
Another part of the reason I took the over is like just a little bit of improvement here or there. I'm with you on the defense improving. Last year, they were number 51 in rush yards per game, allowed 141 per game. They were number 98 in passing defense, allowing 236 per game, 19 touchdowns on the ground, 15 through the air. So it was pretty balanced in its mediocrity. I think both take a step up this year. I think that the passing defense, will certainly improve and be closer to top 50. And then that rushing defense, if you can get that up to like a top 30 rushing defense, that's enough with some slight improvements on offense to buy into USC. And that's the argument. I think you made it eloquently and well, and I agree with all of it on them. We both took the over on USC. So where this one lines up for them on the schedule, I think is also pretty beneficial because it goes Missouri State, Georgia, I got this here. Missouri State, Georgia Southern, at Purdue, Michigan State. They travel to Illinois, first difficult one really, and then a bye week, and then Michigan. So they're coming off a bye week after the long travel. So it's not even a bad back-to-back travel week. So this sets up well for them.
Who has a better year this year? Jaden Maivia at USC or Miller Moss at Louisville?
I'm gonna go with Miller Moss at Louisville. No, because I like that. I like the targets. Man, that's tough. It's really tough. Like I could see either one. I like the targets at USC more, but I like what Miller Moss has just shown me more. I think Miller Moss at Louisville is going to be great.
If Miller Moss outperforms Jaden Maivia, is there a real conversation about Lincoln Riley?
Well, absolutely. I think they're already kind of having those conversations, but this is the year that those conversations will start getting louder and in the national media. Yeah. I'm with you. Who are you taking in that one? That's a fascinating one.
I like Miller Moss.
I like Miller Moss too. We talked about him for Michigan. We're like, come on down.
Yeah, I thought he was just completely unarmed at times last year. I thought they should have got the running game going for him. I think he's a really good play-action quarterback, and if you let him settle in, he can do things. But I felt like Riley kept trying to make him Baker Mayfield. That's not who he is as a passer. And I think working with the Braun brothers at Louisville, they're going to pound the ball with Isaac Brown and their two-headed rushing attack there and just kind of let him feast where he does best.
Love that we're both in on Louisville. That's great. And we come to these things separately. Yeah.
I know. Doing our own research.
I was doing the work on Louisville and I was like, yeah, I'm in on this. He's going to have a good year. Maivia is going to put up numbers. Has to get those interceptions down.
Yes.
I mean, like that ratio will not do because if they're turning the ball over a lot, I just don't know. So how do they want to win this game against Michigan at their house?
Lincoln Riley wants to spread the ball around, but I think he's going to have to try to overcome himself and be balanced in this one. Like last year, we saw them take on a Michigan team early on and exploit those growing pains in the secondary. Use stuff to their advantage, throw some misdirection at them, some just cool offensive ideas that Michigan seemed to sort out later in the year, but Lincoln Riley is still a very innovative mind. So I think he's going to try to confuse this defense, take those shot plays, and then defensively, just make him earn it. Make him earn it down the field, make him try to do things they're not comfortable with, shut down the run. I mean, I say shut down the run, but this team couldn't do it even if they had Michigan signs last year. So tall task there, but I'm buying in what D'Anton Lynn is selling defensively. And if their defense can just contain Michigan's offense and Lincoln Riley can contain himself enough to just play balanced football, I think it'll be a very tough game. Look at the Penn State game there last year. Took him down to the wire at home. I believe that one went over.
In a late game, we don't have a lot of data on this, at least from our side. Who do you trust more as of right now, 3 minutes left, tie game, Sharon Moore, Lincoln Riley.
Sharon Moore. Look at the record last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look at the record last year. Michigan, tight game with, I want to say a 0 because I like Davis Warren at quarterback against Ohio State. Who performed better? On the road like that. And Lincoln Riley couldn't get a job done in a 1-score game to save his life last season.
No, I mean, and there was a head-to-head last year, and we saw how that one ended. And yeah, USC probably still kicking themselves for that
and
one.
Sharon Moore in tight games in 2023. Win, win, win. All one possession. Or I guess Penn State was 2 possessions, but single digits.
Nonetheless, but I love it. Yeah, great callback there. All right, so let's get the spread, brother. What are you thinking on this one? On the road.
I think USC is going to be favored. It's going to be tight. I'm going to go similar to what you did for the Nebraska game. I think it'll be USC 2.5.
Yeah, I'll go USC just to make it a little different. I'll go USC 3.5. I think it'll be tight though. I think USC and Nebraska are going to have kind of similar spreads there. And yeah, I mean, as we get into these spreads, it feels like Michigan's going to be in some tight ones. I mean, we predicted Michigan State tight, Nebraska tight, USC tight, Wisconsin a little bit more. Yeah, not as much. Not as much. I think we like Michigan in that one. Loose on that one. So yeah, Michigan's going to be in some tight ones, man. I think so. And if not, it's going to bode well, particularly for these games that we're talking now that are early season. Late season contest, we'll see. I'm hoping that Michigan's a little more dialed in.
Big game I'm watching early for USC is Michigan State going out there. Like, that's going to be fascinating to watch, and seeing how the Spartans handle the travel and what they can do in the Coliseum. Like, that's going to be a big indicator about how I feel about this matchup.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I mean, obviously the one is Oklahoma. We talk about it now. We're like, yeah, we're kind of expecting a loss. That day, that morning for kickoff, brother, we are going to be talking nonsense. There is going to be nonsense in the group chat. They're just like, actually, you know what? I think Bryce Underwood's got a chance at 340 in this.
No, I know.
Am I underselling it?
I already know how I'm going to talk myself into it. I'd be like, okay, this team lost to Navy last year. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball 40 times. Bryce Underwood needs to complete 15 passes, and we walk away.
Dude, I'm with you. My friend, I think it's time. Let's talk some specialists. We only have 2 more position groups left to go. We've gotten through them all in our coverage of every single position group here, but specialists need to be discussed, something that you and I certainly appreciate on this pod, and any lover of football should, especially after last year with what Dom Zavada was able to do, and I think we have to start there at the top.
I mean, our only preseason All-American on the AP list that came out this morning, fighting to be, arguably had the greatest season in Michigan history last year. The only miss he had was due to blocking issues, nothing he did, and he single-handedly won the Ohio State game for us.
Certainly did, and it's very worth noting that against Alabama and Ohio State, there were several missed kicks from the opponent there, and none from Dom Zavada. Dom Zavada was absolutely locked in. 4 field goals against Alabama, the 2 against Ohio State, both critical, including a 54-yarder in that one. He hit a long of 56. He was absolutely money from 50. He is already ready for the NFL, but came back because he wanted more. My respect for Zavada is marrow deep. I freaking love this guy. Like, this could be the first specialist that gets the jersey treatment. Like, he's that high for me.
I love that, man. It was such a weapon for a team that needed it, and it feels almost like a luxury this season because you expect the offense to take a step. And we've seen it in the NFL with kickers hitting from ridiculous yards in the preseason of 70. But, like, just having Zavada, it's like, okay, we have to get to the opponent's 40, and we're good. And, like, you start there, that is such a benefit to have for an offense.
Last year, do you remember our text thread talking about, like, how that should just be our offensive philosophy? Is, like, play the most, like, rudimentary football possible to get to the 40 and then just kick it? Because we were so over trying to throw the football with Alex Orji and just way too many turnovers and, like, backwards plays, tackles for losses. We're like, this shouldn't be that hard. Like, you can get to the 40 more times than not, put up 15 points per game. It's what gives me so much hope this year in these close games is that you still have that option, and we should be better at running the ball and passing the ball. Just get to the 40 and you're in scoring range. Don't turn the ball over in the red zone because you have a freaking weapon behind you.
It's such a luxury to have. And the thing Bryce Underwood needs to understand this year is that as a quarterback, you want every possession just to end with a kick, whether it's a punt, a field goal, or an extra point. That's the goal for every possession. And it's like, if he can do that and allows Zavada to put up the easy shots there, and he can just dink and dunk and take what the offense gives him and not turn the ball over, this offense could be just wildly efficient in the most simple, basic way. Run mesh a couple times, run some play action, pound the hell out of the football, and let Zavada finish it off.
With you, it should be considered in every single game that you go into. Like against Oklahoma, I would be fine if he attempts 7 field goals. I don't care. That might be enough to beat Oklahoma. Yeah, that's gonna win the game. Who cares? So he's by far the one that we need to bring up first. He has a very real chance to be an All-American, to win the Groza, all of that. I'd be surprised if he's not the front runner. Certainly is in my book. After that, we'll see. I think there could be some new names, some familiar names that'll be amongst the specialists there. What are you hearing out of camp about who the returners might be?
So it looks like for punt return, it's going to be Samaj Morgan again. And right now, all the scuttlebutt revolving around kick returner is Anthony Simpson, UMass transfer. Kind of like, think of him as like an Eddie McDoom type. I always go to that comp, or like an AJ Henning, a little more relevant. Somebody like that to hopefully like add some explosion to this game. He's a wide receiver, but he's probably not going to get a lot of run at that position. But this is a way to get the ball in his hands and let him do what he does best, and that's kind of operate in space.
So Anthony Simpson, there'll probably be somebody else back there, though he'll be the primary. Any other names that you might throw out there?
I would love Micah Capana back there.
Like how Jordan Marshall got in there last year.
Exactly. That, or if you want to throw in a freshman, like in Andy Marsh, a player like that. Like, I think Browder's too big, but if you want to throw Marsh back there, or like a Shamari Earls, one of the young defensive backs, like that's a good spot for them to get reps and get the ball in their hands and feel comfortable. But like everything we've heard about Capana's explosiveness makes me really excited about his potential with Simpson back there.
Yeah, and we've been, not to go off in a different position group here, we've been hearing some Jasper Parker. I'm guessing more between the tackles every down then for Parker and more explosive for Capana.
It could be. I mean, we'll see. I think you're on the money there. I mean, not to mention Bryson Kuzdal, who had a fantastic spring game. Like, that doesn't always translate, but another name to watch. So I really do think it will come down to Simpson and then a running back. It just remains to be seen who.
And as far as Samaj Morgan returning punts, I like that. I mean, I'm certainly on board the redemption tour for Samaj Morgan. Saw some really incredible, impressive catches coming out of fall camp of him making some one-handed catches, but also more importantly, what he's doing from a leadership perspective has 100%. Me really in on Samaj. So really excited at what he could do there. And really, I mean, we just didn't see much of him last year. So most of my memories are from a much younger version of Samaj. I think this could be a great comeback year for him. And then at punter, it's going to be Hudson Hollenbeck. It sounds like. I don't know that there's really too much competition remaining there. What are your thoughts on Hollenbeck, you, the punting guru on the pod?
I'll see, man. Just put it in the 20. That's all I ask. I wish it was inside the 10. I feel like inside the 20 is kind of a wide net there. Like inside the 10 is what you really want, but like just some consistency back there. I think overall, though, for the specialist, this is a big year for JB Brown. I was very underwhelmed by him last year with some there was the offsides play against Illinois that really swung that game. There was mistakes against Oregon in return coverage, like very uncharacteristic from what we'd gotten used to under Jim Harbaugh, where we're so buttoned up on the third side of the football. So I want to see something from JB Brown this year. Otherwise, I think this team might think about making a move.
Completely with you there, unsurprisingly, because JB Brown was not great last year. There was a lot left to be desired. I mean, Dom Zavada probably saved him his job, because if we didn't have that going, you didn't have a potential all-world kicker there just drilling everything. It looks even worse because every other phase of it was not great. And it's weird how a great kicker can, I mean, like you said, the only one he missed was a misexecution on the snap, I think, or the hold.
Block.
I forget which it
block.
was.
I think
it was blocks.
Evan
That's
Link
right.
missed a block, I think.
And it's, any block is generally missed execution somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, unless, I mean, that's almost every case there. So big year for JB Brown, big year for the specialists. I'm not like 10 toes down on those returners. I'm kind of into it. Like, I need to see Anthony Simpson, obviously. But yeah, I'm with you. Getting like a Marsh or an Earls or one of these like really electric prospects in there, Capana, would excite me a little bit more. But maybe Simpson's just, I think at this point, Simpson's experience is probably winning out, is that like one of these guys will get a chance, but it's early on. So for now, Simpson probably has it, but watch and see for one of those other guys.
And this team needs it, man. I mean, Michigan hasn't had a punt return for a touchdown since UConn 2022. and hasn't had a kick return for a touchdown since Maryland 2021. And that was on the Michael Barrett throwback to AJ Henning on the other side of the field, which was brilliant. So they're due for one. And having just any extra points from that side, again, is just such a benefit to a young quarterback and an offense.
Yeah, and an offense that we're not expecting to be elite, putting it nicely. Like, we'll take points wherever we can get them. So this unit needs to be great. Like you said, got to win 2 of the 3. We expect to win defense against everyone that we go up against this year. Offense, we'll see in a lot of games, but special teams needs to be a win. So certainly a group that we needed to touch on. We'll see if this is the group towards the end of the year, but Dom Zavada is as good of a piece as you can bring back in any unit.
Yeah, he was you could make the case he was the best specialist in the country last year, like including all returners, because there wasn't like a crazy return year that's not coming to mind right now. I mean, you could say maybe like if you wanted a Downs at returner or like a Travis Hunter at returner, like maybe that. But Dom Zavada was so automatic and just so consistent all year and won so many games for Michigan in those one-score games. And like we just talked about in our team previews, a lot of close games again this year appear to be on the schedule, especially in the meat of the season. And Zavada's going to be relied upon to swing those.
It's like when you get an elite 3-point shooter on your team and you just start expecting it to go in the big games. That's where it got last year with Zavada, where like no matter where they lined it up, I'm like, I expect this to be a make. What's coming next? Like, how can the defense get back?
You just hope he's not betting on the side like Malik Beasley.
Bayonet Beasley? Yeah, let's hope not. Good Lord. All right, that's all I got, brother. Anything else?
No, man, that's going to do it for us. And next time we are back together, it is game week. Game week. We are back.
Say it again.
We are back, brother. 2 pods next week. Hopefully a special guest on the second one to bring us home right up until kickoff. Signed Aidan Hutchinson jersey, people. Get after this. A great prize to have. Spread the word about the podcast. Tell your friends. Tell your mailman. Tell whoever. Get them listening to this one, man. Get ready for the season because football's right around the corner.
I've got nothing else. That's going to do it for Out of the Blue. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Definitely share. We appreciate you. I'm Jared. That's Andy. This is Out of the Blue. We'd like to remind you that wherever you go, go blue.